Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Lori Varsames joins us here. She's our coach, excited here to be here as a certified personal coach and professional coach based out of wine country. That's amazing. Yeah, she's up in Northern California and she's here helping so many with Zoom, of course, internationally as well, from Sonoma specifically. Welcome back. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Great. Back to talking about the work you do and helping so many women out there dealing with burnout, stress, you name it, and also in the workplace. There's a lot that you do when it comes to coaching people. Would you mind giving us a little bit of your background before we begin today?
Yeah, sure. Well, I spent about 10 years in sales in the wine business, in the French wine business specifically, and then moved on to marketing. Did a lot of marketing work in wine and the natural foods business and in wellness, and that's really what really inspired me to get into coaching. So now I coach predominantly professional leaders and entrepreneurs, female in midlife, who are looking to work through stress, burnout, and overwhelm to create lives of freedom, adventure, and choice.
Hmm.
I do coaching in one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and this year I'm starting organizational coaching, which I'm really excited about.
Yes, and I know we're going to focus on that today. But by the way, you also are bilingual. It's French you speak too?
Yes, I speak French. I lived in France for 4 years, and I have to admit I have yet to do a coaching session in French, but I have definitely worked with people in other countries.
Wow, this is awesome. See, learn something new every day. All right. So for organizational coaching, tell me a little bit about the type of clients, the type of organizations you work with and can work with.
Well, it's really about the ones I can work with, and that's, everything from, small businesses, small family-owned businesses, which you see a lot of here in wine country in the wine business, but also larger corporations. I worked for a CPG, which means consumer packaged goods. And that's, I worked for a tea company, for example, but there are others, it could anything from Kellogg's to, you know, to Annie's. So they have, there's a lot of work that I haven't worked with those clients, I should say, but those are the kind of companies I could work with. With organizational coaching, it's really powerful because what I'm seeing in my individual one-on-one sessions with clients is that they're really experiencing toxic workplaces. I don't think that the American workplace is really set up to bring out the best in people. It's set up to inspire competition and hopefully productivity. But I think what they do is the exact opposite of that. What they do is create psychologically unsafe work environments for people where they don't feel like they can be authentic, where they don't feel like they can be accepted for being themselves. And instead, they have to put on these masks and personas that they have to later resolve in coaching or therapy in order to get rid of. When you get to midlife in our age too, Jill, you probably know that you've risen to a certain point in your career. You're happy with your benefits. You don't want to rock the boat too much, but you might not always be happy with all of the finer points of the workplace that you're in. And so to a certain degree, I think a lot of people feel like they have to sell out
Yeah.
in order to keep their benefits and their high salary and their title and um, the financial security that comes with that. And so it's a shame because they either, at our age, they're either teetering from like, I want to leave and start my own business to I need to stay and sacrifice my own wellness, or I'm going to have to grit my teeth because I might get fired because of ageism in the workplace. So it's a gamble no matter what you do. Even if you decide to stay for the benefits, it's still a gamble because you might get chased out. I mean, I hear so many stories about people losing their retirement, their pensions, getting fired a year before their pensions are due because it saves corporations lots of money. But that's not good, and it doesn't inspire confidence. It definitely doesn't inspire loyalty, and it definitely doesn't inspire retention within workplaces, which is a big challenge that we've seen through COVID.
It sure has. Interesting. Interesting. So now as far as this type of coaching, are we you're still doing virtual work, right? So the corporations, organizations that can hire you, it's simply set up this way. And would you be working with I guess the team in general, one-on-ones, or is it a combination of both?
Well, the idea is that, I mean, for local workplaces too, I would probably be showing up in person, and depending on
Yeah.
the contract, I mean, the individual one-on-one coaching definitely happens by Zoom. Um, some people are really put off by that because they think it might be a little impersonal, but it's actually a really great way to connect. Coaching used to happen strictly by phone until the pandemic hit, and then Zoom is really only a recent development in the coaching industry. But when it comes to corporations, the idea is to build a contract with HR or C-suite leadership to say, listen, there are a bunch of leaders that are doing great and they might make it to the next step, but there are a couple of tweaks we'd like to make. Like, maybe somebody is bad at managing their time. Maybe somebody's really bad at managing people. Maybe somebody could use help with their communication skills. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I really admire corporations that do invest in coaches because it really helps with retention. It helps create a more mindful leadership. When you create more mindful leadership, what you're doing is creating a much safer work environment for people where they feel accepted, they feel like they can make mistakes, they feel like they're supported in their growth, and they want to stay. And when you get that kind of loyalty, you also get, increased productivity, better focus, better relationships.
In general, right? That's what you do. By
And
the way, did we tell everyone how Lori, Varsames.com. Sorry, LORIVARSAMES. I like establishing that off the top. I forgot, but go ahead, go ahead.
thank you. Yeah, and so then there's the idea of I'm going to be working with someone this year to assist in a in for a corporate retreat. So I'm going to be working with them to just facilitate larger discussions. A colleague of mine who has been in this field for a long time is really introducing me to the facilitation part of it, which I really love. Having worked with businesses in the capacity in sales and marketing, both as a salesperson and as a consultant. So that's really exciting, having witnessed so many different kinds of businesses out there, to really see out there what works and what doesn't. And I love learning from other businesses. That's why I love coaching entrepreneurs too. They're in the throes of developing a concept, or they've already developed a concept, and they think, well, they probably developed it because they had an idea that they wanted their own freedom, independence, and adventure and choice, and they probably didn't want to work for someone, but that doesn't mean they have great leadership skills. And as they grow their companies, it's really important to help them see maybe some holes that they're missing, things that they can't see because they're just too close to it. And coaching is never meant to be a shaming process or an emotional spanking. It's quite the opposite. It's really a time to be empowered, to reconnect with your values, to understand how you get in your own way, understand what triggers
hmm
you, and how to get around that so that you can be your best self.
Now, wait, when was the last time you worked for a company? Weren't you in the wine business? Were you doing sales or?
I was doing sales, but the last time I was working for a corporation was for an herbal tea company about 5 years ago.
Okay. And tell me about
Yeah.
that experience. Was there things there that you wish you could
Mm.
have, no, without using their name? Uh, what could you have been? How could have benefited the company, the culture, the employees there, would you say? Is that kind of
Well,
where?
it was a B Corp. So those B Corps are, corporations that are electing to be sustainable and to be accountable for their sustainability. So on the whole, at least the stereotype is that they're real feel good companies, that you can feel good working there. I did not have that experience. I did with the company at large, but my department was very competitive and a little backstabby, and I didn't really resonate with that. And so I would have definitely benefited by having a leadership that said, hey, you're having these problems. How can we help? And I did to a certain degree. I had a lot of support from some unlikely people like the CEO and some
Mm-hmm.
others who were really championing me. But I didn't get formal coaching. I got some coaching mentorship, which was wonderful. But, the mentor basically said, this is not your workplace. So I was realizing that what happened that they, and then what happened after I left soon after was that there was a huge fallout and quite a few people were fired from the company or decided to leave. The company was going through a change and a growth spurt. And that kind of large scale organizational change definitely inspires fear. It just, there's like a cleaning out process, both that happens against people's will um, and for people's will in a way, whether they're fired or they decide to leave. It's they're saying that they don't feel safe in the workplace. They don't feel like they're being appreciated, and they want to change. Now that might be good for an organization to have a systemic purge like that. The challenge is you're leaving the people who have the knowledge of the brand, how it's been managed, the history of how things are managed in operations. And there's a lot of great intel that you can gather by retaining employees. I think in our generation, we were told that we would have, what, 10 careers or
Mm-hmm.
in our lifetime. And that's crazy.
Yep.
And it's been crazy making. I mean, I've liked the changes that I've gone through and I've loved the permission to do so, but I would have loved, when I hear stories about our grandparents staying at corporations for 30 years and getting a beautiful pension and the clock, it's like, oh, that sounds lovely. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds lovely, where they felt safe every day. Who knows if they did, but I don't know. I think we're in the exact opposite of that right now, where people stay for 2 years, they go, we expect that, and we do nothing to nurture them to stay.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. And let's remind everyone how we can contact you.
You can reach me at coach@lorivarsames.com. That's LORIVARSAMES. Or you can go to my website at lorivarsames.com and sign up for a free 30-minute chemistry call to see if we're a good fit.
Perfect. Always a good conversation with you. Thank you. And she's here helping
Likewise.
so many, even to get into the business, right? That you help coach women to become an entrepreneur, to start their own company too. I mean, there's a lot that you do. And I know we've talked about mindfulness and your coaching before. Where did you want to kind of dabble into next
Take
or
that.
what?
Well, I think organizational coaching is really where I'd like to be doing more of, because it's not just about helping the individuals, but making a larger impact on workplaces. Capitalism is going through a transition right now that we've seen. We've seen it with the Me Too movement. We've seen it with DEI issues that are coming up consistently, that are long overdue in being exposed. And the old white man's club is slowly shifting, and there's an opportunity to move to. I think of capitalism where I'm a capitalist. We live in America. We all benefit from that system. However, when people are being marginalized, or there are certain income brackets that aren't being held accountable either with taxes or with ethical business practices or whatever, then we're moving into a very dangerous zone. And I would love to see capitalism with a human face. There's a lot of great books out there on the subject. And I think that bringing mindfulness to leadership and coaching is a great way to start bringing kindness and respect and dignity back to the American workplace.
Well, also, just to point out the work that you're doing, if you are just tuning in, it's good to know that you can do better. You can make it happen. There's burnout, which exists in all fields, all careers, and this overwhelm. But I know Lori takes this out of you. She can help. Yeah, she can really help you. And she's, worked for many startups and she's seen business. She's seen the whole side of how things work. And I love that she's now also working with businesses in general. And I just got to point out LoriVarsames.com. That's the website, LoriVarsames.com. I have to chime in like that. It's
Thank
better
you.
for
Thank
you.
you.
Go ahead. I'm still here.
Oh, well, you mentioned mindfulness too, and mindfulness is a big part of it. It's kind of a yucky word that's overused. It's a little bit the greenwashing of the woke world. But it's really important. Mindfulness is really just about embracing the space between stimulus and response. And so, when we get triggered in meetings or we get triggered out, by our kids or by, our partners, we have mindfulness is really that moment where we choose to take a pause and teaching that in the context of stress reduction, um, relationship building, productivity, focus, amongst many other things, is a great way to transform your workplace because it's really just not about wellness and stress management, which, would be really great if people didn't have to be burned out at work. But if we can't do that, then at least we can make them more productive and more focused through the lens of mindfulness. But mindfulness is absolutely essential for, and when I say mindfulness too, there's several prongs to that. There's meditation, which you probably heard about. There's visualization, there's breath work. Um, there's, oh gosh, there's a lot more to it, but those are the chief components of it. And we work on that in in my coaching as well.
Also, the work that you're doing, I like hearing some testimonials of clients. And could you share some of the things that you've helped them, guide them through, explain to them how it's possible, how it's been done, and you can continue to do it? Could you share a story? I always like hearing them. I don't know if you
Yeah,
have anything else that you wanted to add
sure.
to
Let
it.
me
Yeah.
try to think. Well, I think about one client who was a business owner. This is one of the few men that I've coached who's been absolutely wonderful and has really started off with a family business, created a family business when he was in high school. Then started growing that business organically. One thing led to another. Then he's not servicing residences, but he's also servicing corporations. And now he's so big that there are a lot of messy systems in place and some bad habits that were built. And the good news is that through coaching, he's really helped to understand his own patterns of leadership. He's also seen opportunities that he hasn't taken yet that he is now. Um, and he has, his leadership has changed, and really it's how it shows up for himself too. He's a people pleaser, and so he was realizing that he was doing a lot to promote retention, but at the expense of his own business. So that was really exciting too, working with him. I mean, I've worked with a bunch of different business owners in a lot of different capacities, but that's one of my recent brags because he's just doing so well and he's happy. And now he's managing a side business, which is his passion project, all while being a dad of two kids. So I'm really proud of him and really happy that he's been able to find some peace and balance in his life, despite all the prosperity that you can have. You can have a prosperous business, you can have a lucrative business life, and still have balance.
And I love hearing the word balance. It's something that not everybody understands, right? And it's hard to balance work, life, personal, but you want to excel, you want to do well at your job, but then how do you balance that? I know there's a lot in that mix. Balance, it's like you play a balancing game. It's you're on a balance beam.
Well, exactly. We've talked about this in other episodes, but women are taught from a very young age that they can have it all and just go for it, which is really great, except that nobody can have it all. That there's a level of sacrifice and there's a
Mm-hmm.
level of choice that goes into it. If you want to be a great mom, but you're working 100 hours a week outside of the home, that might be difficult to
Mm-hmm.
be a great mom. Likewise, it might be difficult to be a great employee if you're constantly going home for sick kids. So I mean, it's like I'm not saying that women can't have the career and the children. It's that what can you do so that you don't go crazy trying to be perfect at everything, because that's really what we're taught to do. Don't just do it, but excel at it, because if you don't, then you're gonna get run over by the men.
So true. Ah, 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 oh, oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, it's so true. And then you got the whole pay disparity and the whole that's a whole nother issue, but that is real. It exists and it still exists.
Yeah, I just read a study yesterday that was saying that, well, first of all, I think white women are getting 90 cents to the dollar for their earnings, and then women of color are only getting 70 cents to the dollar, which is disgusting. And then that if men have children while in the workplace, they're likely to get a 6% increase in their earnings, whereas if women are in the workplace, they're going to get a 4% decrease.
That's just
So yeah, it's a no-win situation that I think really is only helped through work like organizational coaching and mindfulness training, where we're teaching leaders that there's opportunities here. There are lucrative opportunities for businesses if they just kind of take their head out of the sand and see that we don't always have to operate like we did in the Mad Men era.
yes, the John Hamm. Oh my goodness. I never even watched it. I watched some episodes, but like that's one thing I want to watch. I don't know. Yeah, everyone says I have to see it. So, I
I
only
watched
caught
a couple of episodes and it made me sick.
Okay, that's what I have a feeling. That's why I never really went into it because it's exactly how I thought I'd feel. Yeah. Ah, all right, all right. Well, we still got just a few minutes left here today, Lori. What other points did you want to make sure you get across for today's show?
Well, just that, that a lot of people confuse therapy with coaching, and coaching is very different and similar in a lot of ways too. So if we think of therapy as how your past is influencing your present, coaching is really how your present influences your future. And so it's very future focused, it's very goal oriented, it's based on positive psychology. So it can be a really fun process if you're willing to access your feelings, dig deep and do some work. It's really exciting doing personal development work. I think it's wonderful and inspiring. And for leaders, it can be a game changer.
Dig deep, dig dirty. I love that. It's true. And the process of working with someone like yourself, could you just go over that with us? And of course, how
Sure.
you'll talk to anyone if they're interested. That's all they got to do is make a phone call or click on the website.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you go on my website at lorivarsames.com, you can schedule a 30-minute chemistry call with me, which is a Zoom call, so it's face to face. You get a vibe, see if we're a good fit. You can ask all the questions you want about coaching. It's a great opportunity to just share what's on your mind, what goals that you have, where you're feeling stuck. For some people, it's career. For other people, it's relationship. Most of my clients are coming in for career issues, and it's super fun, and I highly recommend it. If you want to reach me too, you can also call 510-872-2827, my phone number. I do Zoom and phone sessions all around the world. And I have to do one little humble brag that this is the second year in a row I was voted best life and career coach of Sonoma County in California.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Oh my goodness. That is so cool.
Thanks.
Is
Yeah,
there
I'm
is there
excited
like
about it.
is it like published anywhere? Like where's the website for that? You got to put it on your website.
Yeah, there's the first award is there, and I'm about to get the second one at the end of the month. It's through the North Bay Bohemian, which is a local culture magazine, so newspaper and magazine. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's some great people here in Sonoma County, and Northern California is a great place to do this kind of work. And I love doing it with anyone who's willing to do it, wherever they are.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for being here, for joining us as always. Remind us how we
Yeah.
can contact you, and congratulations.
Thank you. You can contact me at my phone number, 510-872-2827, at coach@lorivarsames.com, or on my website, lorivarsames.com, LORIVARSAMES.
Thank you, Lori. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Good to
Jill.
see you.
You
Enjoy that
too.
beautiful California sunshine today. Hey, we're going to be 70 degrees here in New York, so we're catching up.
Oh, right on. It's about time.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, talk to me next week. It'll be freezing. But thank you again. Have a
Thank you,
great day,
Jill.
Lori. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.